Hello there, so today's video is an update on AT&T. This is a video that's been requested. We've got big news out that AT&T are essentially going to be getting rid of Warner Media Group, and that's going to be merging with Discovery Channel to create a new company. In today's video, I'll explain exactly how that will work, what it will do for shareholders, what it will do to the share price of AT&T, as well as how it's going to affect the dividends of AT&T as well, because we have that information now. They released it just recently. So I'm going to explain all of that to you in this video. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name's Andy, and on this channel, I like to talk about money and success. If you're interested in making, saving, and investing money, please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and then you get notified every time I release a new video. And if you enjoy this video and find it useful, please do remember to give it a thumbs up, because that helps the YouTube algorithm, which in turn helps me, and of course, I do appreciate it. So AT&T is obviously a dividend stock. Most people who invest in AT&T, I would say, do so for the dividend. And so it's very popular with people who are retired. If you were thinking of using it as a retirement vehicle, if you like, you're thinking of relying on the dividends because it's one that has increased its dividends for years and years and years, you're going to want to watch this video because they're about to cut their dividend. That has been announced. So the dividend is going to be going down. If you're interested in calculating how much you need invested to be able to make a living off your dividends, I have made a retirement calculator which I am giving away for free, and I've made a whole video about that with a link in the description to that. I'll put a link in the description to that video and a link up there to it, and then you'll be able to download that calculator yourself and play around with that. But let's now talk about AT&T. So let's go over to the slides and I'll go through what I'm going to be covering today. So AT&T update, what we will cover. We'll cover the Warner Media Discovery merger. We'll discuss how this will affect shareholders and the likely effect on dividends. Now I want to quickly interject here and just say, if you've watched my previous videos about AT&T, you'll probably know I'm actually a big fan of HBO Max and the Warner Media brands. So there is a part of me, when I first heard about this, my gut feeling, if you like, I was like, oh no, one of the reasons I liked AT&T wasn't just the high dividend, it was the fact it had this broad umbrella of companies. It's huge, quite frankly, and it did so many things. And I did think that this Warner Media brand, certainly HBO Max, I thought was a potential growth sector. So if you've seen my previous videos, you'll probably know that already. But if you haven't seen my previous videos and you are interested in learning more about AT&T and other thoughts on other aspects of the company, then please do check out the playlist I've made. I've made lots of videos on that. I'll put a link to the playlist up there and in the description down below, so you're able to check those out. But now let's just get into the nuts and bolts of exactly what's going on here. So here you can see, if you look on the left-hand side, it explains it, I think, diagram-wise fairly easily there. So the new company that's being created, which we now know the name of, by the way, is going to be giving 71% of it will go to AT&T shareholders and 29% of it to the Discovery shareholders. It will also be taking on 43 billion of debt from AT&T. So that means 43 billion of debt will come off AT&T's balance sheets. And if you've watched my previous videos about AT&T, you'll be aware that the debt is a big issue. If you're an investor in AT&T, you'll be aware that the debt is a big issue. And obviously you want AT&T to get its debt down. And quite honestly, its debt has been increasing. I be honest, whilst making this video, I've spent a couple of days now going through all the financials of AT&T, and I could have made a 2-hour video with ease, quite honestly. And I made the decision, I'm just going to keep this simple. I'm just going to go through this one kind of topic, really. But if you're interested in me going through the financials of AT&T, let me know in the comments down below, and I could very easily do that. But I will quickly say on that topic, one of the things I was disappointed in seeing in its latest results is its debt level has gone up. However, if you watch the video I made previously on AT&T, you'll see we were expecting that because of the fibre, the broadband bidding that it's had to do, and obviously it's had to take on extra borrowing. I think off the top of my head it was about 30 billion for that. So as a result of that, AT&T's debt level has gone up anyway. But this will cut the debt level down, but of course it will also reduce the income that AT&T has as well. You've got to bear that in mind, okay? Warner Media takes on, like I say, the new company will take on 43 billion of debt from AT&T, and AT&T shareholders will receive 71% of common equity distributed via shares of stock. So you're going to get shares in the new company, okay? That's what's going to happen when it splits up. Now, I've done some calculations and I'll go through that a little bit later to let you know exactly kind of how much I expect you to get. This slide here really is trying to sell the synergy. They're basically saying that, HBO Max and Discovery Plus should be better together, best in class technology and consumer experience. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Better engagement, lifetime value and subscriber growth. I can see the argument there. The theory is that the Warner Media brands will bring people in, the DC and the big names, the Game of Thrones, things like that. That will bring new customers in. And then the idea is that Discovery Channel will retain them. Whether that will actually work like that, to be honest with you, remains yet to be seen, and only time will tell. Largest library with 200,000 hours of video content, leading scripted and unscripted content portfolio, available in 220 plus countries and territories and 50 languages. High quality production capabilities of Warner Brothers Studio, number 1 TV studio by revenue and volume, top 2 movie studio by box office 11 of the last 12 years, and premium sports rights in US, Europe and Latin America. And that's true. The content that they're pumping out is phenomenal. As you know, Warner Media is amazing. It pumps out so many big name brands. There's too many to list, quite frankly. And what they're really trying to say here is that they're going to be able to compete with Netflix. They're claiming that they're going to be essentially better than Netflix. And again, that's yet to be seen. Certainly in terms of the content they're making, yeah, I think, people who are into the comics, DC or the Game of Thrones or the things that Warner Media pump out, which there are masses of big name things, they will be popular. There is no doubt about that. My reservation is how well it will be pumped out in America, for example, whereas when it was with AT&T, they had a very easy route to market. Here in the UK, the route to market, we have something called Sky. Sky essentially will sell you satellite TV, and then they will sell you Netflix. They will sell you all the subscriptions within that, and you buy a Sky TV package if you like, but they'll also sell you broadband as well. So they're kind of a similar thing, if you like, to AT&T, albeit on a much smaller scale. It's still a similar thing. If AT&T want to sell you a phone line, they can also sell you the broadband. They can also then sell you a TV subscription. It seems to make sense to me to have it all under one umbrella, which is why they're separating it. I'm thinking a bit, is that really a clever trick? However, if they're giving the shares of the new company, a big portion of those will go to AT&T shareholders. You must remember that the people who are in charge of AT&T also own lots of shares in AT&T. So they will by default end up owning lots of shares in the new company, which means they will want the new company to do well. So there's a good chance that synergy, certainly in the short term, will continue, because the people in charge at AT&T will have a vested interest for the new company to do well, even though they won't directly be part of AT&T, if that makes sense. Enhances global linear business, and that's one of the things where HBO Max had really not done anything yet. It hadn't gone global yet. So, and I spoke in a previous video about it going global later in 2021 to early 2022. So again, that there is massive growth for HBO Max to expand. Now, whether it expands in the new company or in AT&T, well, obviously it's going to be in the new company now. It's not going to be in AT&T. But the benefit, I suppose, I've got is in the new company, Discovery is already global. However, Discovery Channel here, it comes part of my Sky package. We don't pay extra for Discovery. It's not a thing, if you like. There's not a service. Like Netflix, I pay an extra subscription for Netflix. Amazon Prime, we pay an extra subscription for Amazon Prime. Discovery Channel, it just comes free, essentially, with my Sky subscription. And quite honestly, if they lost the Discovery Channel, I wouldn't care. It would not affect me at all. So that, I think, is potentially a weakness. I personally think it's an odd matchup, because Discovery Channel in my eyes is a lot smaller than Warner, but obviously it is. It's getting 29% versus 71%. So they've realised the value in discrepancy there, but it's not got its own direct platform as such, whereas Netflix has its own platform, if that makes sense. Discovery Channel, as far as I'm aware, does not have such a platform. Certainly in the UK it doesn't. It may well do in America, but in the UK it certainly does not. HBO Max is a platform in America that I was hoping would be coming over here, and hopefully it will come over here and go global. And if and when it does, yeah, sure, that could potentially compete. If they get on with it and don't drag their heels too long, then yeah, they've got a good chance, because they've got such strong brands, if you like. So financial highlights: greater scale with 52 billion of expected revenue and 14 billion of expected adjusted EBITDA in 2023. The target in 15 billion for the new company's revenues by 2023. They've got significant synergies with 3 billion of expected run rate cost savings, and that's valid. Robust free cash flow supports deleveraging, reinvestment and financial flexibility, and we're going to talk about the deleveraging need for that in a moment. And they're committed to maintaining investment grade rating, which will need investment grade rating in order to borrow money to continue to create new content. Okay, so let's look at the financial overview. So the revenue in billions, you're looking at 39 billion is what the two did in 2020. They're expecting by 2023 that to grow to 52 billion for those two, the new company now, if you like. And in EBITDA, they're expecting it to have gone from 12 to 14 billion. Now look at the deleveraging. It's going to be 5 times at the close. When this is taken over, the amount of debt it's taken on, frankly, is huge. 5 times is big, okay? And they're expecting to get that down to 3 times within 2 years, within 24 months. And long term, they're hoping to keep it at 2.5 to 3 times. So now let's look at how AT&T are likely to fare after the transaction. They're claiming that they're going to be more focused on mobile, and essentially it will just be a 5G and fiber company. It'll be a telecoms company. It will essentially be Verizon, which again I'm slightly annoyed about, because if I'd have wanted to invest in a Verizon, I would have already bought shares in Verizon and not AT&T. So this change of direction, if you like, isn't something that particularly makes me happy. On the bright side, they will be focused. And it does seem to be a trend. They have been selling things off and essentially getting back to their core business, which essentially is telecoms. And it is a nice stable income on the telecoms, which has grown. So, you know, I can see the argument for that, and that's what they're aiming to do here. Now, they're investing for growth, success, fiber-based expansion, 5G acceleration, but look at the middle and right-hand side. So let's talk about the debt reduction. So debt reduction, they want 43 net debt reduction at close. Well, yes, because they're giving that to the new company. So the new company is taking on that debt, 43 billion. The expected net debt to adjusted EBITDA ratio is 2.6 range after close and below 2.5 by the end of 2023. So they're projecting this. They're projecting that it will be lower than 2.5, which if it is, great. Optionality to repurchase shares, which would boost the share price. And we know that the CEO of AT&T is very disappointed with the share price of AT&T and wants the share price of AT&T to improve. But then look at the middle there. Attractive dividend. Targeting dividend payout ratio of 40 to 43% on anticipated free cash flow of around 20 billion plus. Now that contradicts what they were telling us in March 2021. So just a few months ago, let me show you what they were saying in their investor presentation slide then. So this is from March, you see, 12th of March 2021. And if you look on the right hand side there, free cash flow range 26 billion. Yes, you notice 26 versus 20 billion, 6 billion, Warner Media. That's going to be stripped out. So that will be lost, okay? That's why they're expecting their cash flow to be smaller. Total dividend payout ratio in the high 50% range. So they were telling us they were targeting to keep it in the high 50% range. And on another slide from that same investor presentation, if you look on the right hand side there, one of their key things they were intending to do was sustain the dividend at the current level and reduce debt. And yet now they've done a U-turn on that. They're reducing the dividend. Essentially, there's no two ways about it. Instead of keeping it in the 50% range, they're going to go down to the 40 to 43% range. So they are going to make a dividend cut, make no mistake about it. And they're hiving off a chunk of the company. So it's going to be a smaller percentage of a smaller income. So your dividend is going down. That's it. It's that simple. So Warner Brothers Discovery, that's the name of the new company, the stuff that dreams are made of. So what will happen to the dividends? Well, let's be clear now, expect no dividends. Discovery pays no dividends right now. It's going to be the same CEO of Discovery in the new company of Warner Bros. Discovery, okay? It'll be the same CEO. The new company is going to be laden with debt. It's taken on 43 billion of debt from AT&T. So it's going to be really debt heavy. It's going to be really trying to get that debt down over the first 2 years. It's definitely not paying any dividend for the first 2 years, okay? So any dividend, just forget that. AT&T shareholders will get $5 to $7-ish, so approximately $6 per AT&T share in the new Warner Brothers Discovery share value. So you will get shares. There's essentially be kind of like a share split. So your shares in AT&T will drop in value immediately. So for argument's sake, say they're worth $28 on the day that this closure happens. Then immediately the AT&T shares will drop by an amount, let's call it $6 per share. So now instead of being $28 per share, they're now $22 per share. And the new company's shares, your $6, you won't have lost that. You will get that in share value of the new company. So if the new share value of the new company is worth, for example, $12, you will get one share in the new company for every 2 shares you've got in Warner Brothers. If it was $6 and you're getting $6 off there, you get $6 there, which means you'll get 1 share. So it depends. Obviously, I can't tell you exactly how many of the shares you get, because it might be 1 for 1, it might be 1 to 2, it might be 1 to 3, but that's the concept. I hope that makes sense to you, okay? So you will get the same value. So you'll, that day, at the end of the day, you'll own exactly the same value as you did at the beginning of the day, given market fluctuations. In share value, it'll just now be split between new company, which will pay no dividends, and AT&T, which still will be paying dividends, but at a lower rate, okay? So your dividends are going to go down essentially twice. Once because AT&T has now just got smaller, approximately 20% smaller, to be honest with you. So approximately 20% of AT&T is going to new company. And then AT&T itself will pay you, instead of paying 50% of its cash flow, if you like, of its income as dividend, it's only going to pay 40 to 43% of its operating income as a dividend. Now, this is a double-edged sword, okay? This is both good and bad. Let me explain. It's bad if you are relying on AT&T for your income and you just want high dividend yield, because the fact of the matter is your dividend yield's going down. It's good if you want to be someone who holds AT&T for a very long period of time, because actually in doing this, it will enable AT&T to reduce its debt. Also, the new company, you've got the choice now. You could sell the shares in the new company, or you could hold on to it and treat it like a Netflix type company and think, actually, this new company's got the potential to really grow, so I'll hold on to that and I'll let the share price increase, and then I'll sell it and take a capital gain at a later date if you believe the share price in the new company is going to increase. That's something you need to make a decision on, of course. It may not. It's not going to be giving you an income. That is for sure. So AT&T share price will fall by the same amount. AT&T dividends will fall to 40 to 43% payout versus the previous 50 to 60% payout. And AT&T dividend yield will fall. The exact figure cannot be accurately calculated, and the reason for that is because we don't know what the share price is going to be and we don't know what the exact dividend is going to be. And until you know those two numbers, you can't work out what the exact dividend yield is going to be. But what I can do is give you a rough estimate, and the rough estimate I've come around is between 4 to 5%. So assume it's going to be about a 4.5% dividend yield. So it's still going to be a pretty good dividend yield as it stands. But that's what we're looking at, okay? So if you want to buy shares in AT&T, fine. If AT&T share price drops, then you could buy shares in AT&T. And in fairness, in one of my previous videos, the prices that I put in there, I think are still pretty good. As I recall, I put $26.50. If it dropped below that, I said that's when I said load the boat. I still think that is a good value price to be buying AT&T shares at. Obviously, above $30 per share, I think AT&T is not worth buying. So somewhere in that range, $26, $26.50 and lower, good to buy, in my opinion. Where it stands right now, about the $28 range, I'm personally not interested in buying. I'm actually not really that interested in buying even below the $26.50 range at this point in time, just simply because I don't like the way they're messing around. I really don't like the way they've changed their mind. I like to be told what's happening and then stick with it. If someone's going to be straight with me, great. But telling us that you're going to aim to keep the dividend the same and then just a few months later changing your mind on that, I don't like that. That's not honest. I like straight talking honesty, essentially. And so if the management can't appear to make their mind up, and they've got a track record of this over the years, I mean, let's be totally honest, it's only 3 years ago since they bought Warner Brothers in the first place, and now here we are getting rid of it. Well, why did you buy it then? If you wanted to get rid of it, if you weren't going to keep it and grow it and use that growing income, you've grown the subscriber base. Why not continue to grow it if you believe it's good? I don't know. But by the same token, HBO Max has seen good growth. It's going well. It is a good time to sell it. So I can't fault the decision on selling, because you should sell something when it is doing good if you are intending to sell it. But that's not the impression they were giving to shareholders in their most recent investor presentation day just back in March. They were talking about how good it is, how it's going to be growing more, how it's going into new countries. So, you were expecting the growth to come in large parts from that. And now they're getting rid of that. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused and bemused. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. What do you think is going to happen with AT&T? What do you think is going to happen with a new company? Do you think it's going to grow? Is it going to be a new Netflix? Is it going to be better than Netflix? Is it going to dive? What are your thoughts? And are you holding AT&T? Are you selling AT&T? Or are you buying more AT&T? And at what price? Please do let me know that in the comments down below, because I would be interested to know your thoughts on this topic, because right now I'm just looking at it going, what is going on? Anyway, I really hope you found that useful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and bye-bye.